It's going to tell me that it's recording. Um, so hello, everybody. My name is Brad Solomon. Thank you all for joining us today. My company is SC Digital, and this is sort of the next in the line of the rapid fire digital marketing series that we've been doing kind of on and off here for about the past year and a half. We're going to be talking today about social media marketing and social media advertising specifically. Just kind of a real quick, who are these people? This is, like I said, the company is SC Digital. This is part of my team over here in the bottom left-hand corner, who I love more than I can tell you. They are phenomenal. They're all individually very talented in their own right, and I'm so incredibly lucky to have them. And our clients are equally as lucky to have them. We handle basically anything that has to do with internet marketing. And if we don't handle it ourselves in-house, then we can typically, help somebody find a way to make something happen, either by referring them to somebody else that we know, or just figuring it out ourselves. So today we're pretty much going to be talking about social media marketing. We're going to start off here with basically just an overview of what digital marketing is. Basically encompasses anything that has to do with the internet and marketing your business. So of course that can be social media, it can be your website, it can be search engine optimization, video production, basically anything that has to do with, that's not traditional, in a sense that it's not TV, it's not newspaper, it's pretty much anything that happens on the internet. But today, other than digital marketing, we're going to take sort of a small segment of digital marketing, which is social media marketing. And I'm not even really talking a whole lot about the social media management, because that is almost a completely separate, that's a separate segment. So social media management is more posting 2, 3, 4 times a week, making sure that you're posting across as many platforms as you want. This webinar is primarily about using ad spend to amplify the posting and the messaging that you're already doing, and how to do that in ways that can really kind of enhance your return on investment. So that's primarily what we're going to be talking about here. And I'm going to show you some examples of different ads that we've run for clients, why they work, why a lot of times things don't work the way that we feel that they should. And we'll sort of start out with just to level set some things that you want to avoid before even getting started, sort of some pitfalls that a lot of times people fall into. And we really want to make sure that we start out by saying, like, don't do these things. First of all, nobody should ever spend $1 marketing or advertising if they don't have some sort of a plan or strategy as to how that money's going to come back to them. So, all too often we see clients or people who are now clients, what they were doing before is they would put a post up and then they would say, I don't know, I feel like I should be sort of paying money to get this out there to more people. And they just start spending money without sort of really thinking through, who am I targeting? What is the action that I want those people to take? What do I want to have happen when they ultimately do contact me? How fast can I get in touch with those people? How am I going to evaluate the return on my investment? So before you do those things, before you iron those things, you should not spend even $1. And you also want to look at your messaging and so on. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Ads like what you're seeing here on the right-hand side, they're fun, they're cute, but more than anything else, that they're not effective. That's the problem. And they're not necessarily being broadcast with ad spend. So even though they're saying, hey, we'll brighten your day, and they put that up on their Facebook page, if the page has 100 people that like it, and 75 of those people are family members or employees of the company, then that's actually not helping anybody. And so what we would recommend is actually formulating a strategy on who your customers are, and we'll kind of show you how that works. Facebook, Instagram, and we're primarily talking about Facebook and Instagram today. Granted, there's a lot of different social media out there, but these are the ones that are still the behemoths. They've made it really easy to give you their money, right? Give them your money just by hitting the boost button. And that is something that we typically don't recommend, because it doesn't give you anywhere near the targeting capabilities that you have if you actually use the business manager and the ads manager the way that it is available to use. So we pretty much always say, just don't use it. Because there's just so much more that the platform can do for you. So just kind of stay away from that. having too many platforms or being on the wrong platforms is a huge time waster. I've told the story before about the the locksmith who came to us and said, "Hey, what should I be doing on social media?" And I basically said, "You should be doing nothing on social media, because people aren't going to remember your social media in most cases when they're locked out of their house. They're going to probably go to Google, but they're not going to Facebook. And by you posting something, they're probably not going to all of a sudden lock themselves out of their house because they saw you post that. So it's kind of a waste of time." So I think that joining too many platforms can be very detrimental, because it takes your focus off of what you should be doing. And joining the wrong platforms for the same reasons is just not the right move. And then, of course, social media is social by nature. You're going to get comments, you're going to get reviews. You need to respond to the comments. And definitely, if you get a less than nice comment or a less than nice review, there's a way to handle it and there's a way not to handle it. The thing not to do is to be combative with people, because I promise the people that say something mean in one of your recommendations or whatever the case is, they have way more ability to mobilize than what you have the energy for. So there's certainly ways to address that, and we can get into those as well. So let's talk first about some tips, just some sort of tips that we usually start people off with when they're getting a social media ad campaign going. And it's counterintuitive, because you wouldn't think that this would be the first tip. Like, the first tip should be like, choose a nice picture, choose good copy, and so on. Those things are all very important. But I'm here to tell you that the offer that you're making in social media advertising is far more important than really anything else that you do. Primarily because people are being hit with so many different things all at the same time. The attention span is very, very low. So if you have something that you are offering to the public, it needs to be good. Otherwise, it's not going to get results. Good marketing, a beautiful picture, great copy is not going to fool the audience into thinking that a bad offer is actually a good offer. So it needs to be something that's actually exciting to people, and it is highly beneficial to the people that are seeing it. So I always say, think about what your objective is, what you're trying to accomplish, and then come up with an offer that is enticing and inspirational to the people that you're trying to target, who you want to take whatever that action is. So over here on the right-hand side, hey, you're trying to grow your email list. Great. Give them something that gives them a reason to want to join the email list. So, 10% off of a purchase is great. A free session is even better. Something that is actually tangible, that is of high value to them is significantly better. A free download, a free video, access to a free webinar. These kinds of things are very valuable to people and are going to be more likely to convert them, as opposed to just saying, hey, you should join my email list because you just should, right? That's never going to get anybody to actually take an action. You got to give them something in return. If you're looking for leads, right, give them a download. If you're looking to sell products, give them something that is better than what they can get elsewhere. I talk about there's a book that everybody may want to read, and it's actually a lot about this. And I don't work for this company, but it's just kind of a tip. It's called Sell Like Crazy. And one of the things in the book that he talks about is having an exceptional offer can absolutely take bad marketing and turn it into a huge, huge money motivator. And he talks a lot about Casper mattresses and how they basically flip the sleeping industry upside down by giving people a ridiculously good offer. Hey, we're going to send you a mattress in a box. You can have it for free for 90 days. It's almost no risk to you whatsoever. And if you like it, you can keep it and you can pay us then. Took every other mattress manufacturer by surprise, because they were like, we can't compete with that offer. You got to come in and buy something for $3,000, right? And that has really made a big impact. It's made an impact in the automotive industry. Hey, you can dial up a car on your phone, have it delivered to your house, never have to leave your house, and you don't have to deal with a lot of things that oftentimes go along with buying a car that people are afraid of. And now dealers have had to sort of respond to that. And I know that from being in the auto business for a long time. So the offer is everything. Think a lot about it before you actually spend any dollars on this. Here's some examples of offers that we've put together for some clients that have worked really well. Number one, over here on the left, Southers Construction. This is a local roofing company that we work with. We wanted to get people to basically opt in without necessarily trying to sell them anything, but we want to try to get people by providing information and value in advance. So we give them a free guide, different things that they should ask their roofing contractor. Number one, it gets me an email address and a name of people that I know are probably interested in the roof. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Number two, it positions the company as an authoritative source of information, right? Because we're telling you what you should ask your roofing contractor. So subliminally, and maybe even not so subliminally, it demonstrates that, hey, we're not afraid. We're not afraid to tell you what you need to know. Second one right here, this is a financing offer. So this is for an electrician that we work with up in Maine. The offer is a financing deal. So if you want a standby generator for days like today, where lots of people lose their power, you no longer have to shell out $8,000, $9,000. You can literally just finance it with almost no money out of pocket and almost no money. That offer right there, I can't even tell you how successful that has been for them. They would probably have to share that information with you, but it's been very successful for them. That's all I'll say. Because again, no other electrician is doing that, and certainly nobody else is advertising that. So it took everybody else out of the marketplace and pretty much made them the predominant player in Maine when it came to standby generators and also heat pumps. On the third one over here, this is a hotel that we've done business with, that we do business with. We know we're targeting ATV riders, so we give them a map and basically say, hey, here's how to get around. And oh, by the way, if you're interested, we can also give you deals if you ever want to bring your ATV up here and, you know, park it outside and stay at our hotel for the night. So that was a really, you know, kind of a groundbreaking thing for them. It really helped us add a lot of email addresses to their list at about $1.50 each, which has been huge for them. Number two, think about what your campaign objectives are. This is something that you don't really get if you hit the boost button. You don't get this page, right? So we can choose anything we want. If I want people to buy things from my website, I can choose purchases or conversions. If I want to just drive a lot of traffic to my website, I can choose a different action. I can just choose the traffic objective there. And what this does is it tells Facebook and Instagram, hey, these are the types of people that I want to target. These are the types of people that I want to optimize for. If I'm looking for engagement, like I want a lot of people to like, share, comment on my posts, then I would choose the engagement objective there, because that will target people who are more likely to engage with your ads, right? Because we all have different behaviors on these platforms. Some of us engage, some of us click on links, some of us download lead forms. Facebook knows all of this, right? So by choosing the correct objective, you can get the result that you want, because Facebook will basically target the people that are most likely to exhibit that behavior that you're looking for. So always define what the goal is and define those objectives very, very clearly. Know what you're going in for. Number three, know your audience, right? Who ultimately do you want? And, you know, I wouldn't say start with a very, very broad audience, because you'll end up getting a bunch of people that don't really want your service or product. But, you know, start with some different ages, you know, take some different ages of your current clientele, or what does your current perfect customer look like? You know, maybe you've got 100 customers, take the top 20 and try to figure out what they have in common, and then choose your targeting criteria sort of around that. That'll give Facebook and Instagram a really good understanding of who your perfect target audience is, who your perfect target customer is. And it's not just the age and gender, but also, you know, what are they doing? What are they watching? What are they reading? What are they, you know, what podcasts are they listening to? What YouTube videos are they watching? What kinds of authors are they interested in knowing about, right? So these are different targeting criteria that you can use as you're building out your audience in Facebook, as you're running your ads, and it can really make a big difference. So for instance, Sam Russo, right? So you're a nutritionist, you also do some personal training as well, and you probably want to recruit people into your fold, right, who are interested in those items. So there's so many different types of people that you could target. You'd probably need to really hone this down pretty considerably, or you'd probably end up targeting the entire world. You know, so you would want to do some research into, you know, the ones that are really, really serious about this, the ones that are most likely to want to engage with you and want to engage with your Instagram page are probably the ones that are most serious about fitness, most serious about nutrition. So you're going to find those niches and you're going to target those people right here. That way you don't end up with too wide of an audience where Facebook just doesn't even really know who to show your advertising to, which is really not what you want. So you definitely want to spend some time on that and test different audiences, right? So, you know, let's just say you wanted to test people that have a vegan lifestyle, right? Maybe that's one audience. And then you just use that as a decision criteria and you spend $20 a day advertising to them. And then over here, you know, you might have somebody that has maybe a different like or a different interest or who reads a particular magazine, and you would want to separate those two things out so that you can get really good data about which audience performs best. And that's how over time you can really hone in on the right marketing for your business. Okay, choose which ad format you ultimately want to be using. You can do single images, you can do video, you can do multiple images in a carousel, you can do a reel. Like there's all kinds of different formats that can work. We believe that you should use a mix of all of them, but that in many cases, the video works very well because it gives people an opportunity to engage with you, and it gives people an opportunity to be retargeted based on how long they watched your video. But here's a few examples of how these things work. So on the left-hand side here, this is actually a video of a client that we had, and you may have seen these guys on Shark Tank. The name of the product was Super Potty Trainer, is Super Potty Trainer. And it was pretty exciting. Like they went on Shark Tank and they got a deal on the season finale last year. This ad was very impactful for them because it's essentially, it shows an actress kind of walking through how she showed her kids how to use the potty using this thing. And the reason that it was valuable is that you can tell that she's in the target audience. And the language that she's using is, demonstrates that, hey, we understand the problems that you're going through. We went through the same problems. I couldn't get my kid to use the potty. I put this thing down, boom, problem solved, $20, click this link. And it was beneficial. It's beneficial for them. That's also my wife. I don't always do video, but when I do, it's usually my wife or my children that are in the more me. In the middle here, this is a photo set, right? And so one of the reasons why photo sets tend to work really well is that you're getting free engagement. People are sort of flipping through, and that's demonstrating to Facebook that you've got something that people are really interested in. Facebook is tracking every single action that we take on the platform and off of the platform, by the way, if we're logged in. I think we all know that now after all the recent news, right? So if we can get people to just engage with our ads, that's a really good way to just get a lower cost per click and a lower cost per engagement. The third one over here, this is Canine Academy, one of our clients. And we actually specialize in working with doggy daycares and pet grooming facilities, training facilities. And one of the reasons why this ad is so successful is that, like, you can't not look at this dog. You can't not want to engage with this dog if you're in the target audience. And so if you're going to do a single image, you've got to make sure that that single image is very engaging. And this one has just, absolutely been off the charts successful for this client. By the way, dogs, food, and actually just dogs and food and maybe cats tend to be the most engaging things that we can be doing in social media, at least when it comes to advertising. So just a word to the wise there. And number 5, your copy. Your copy has to be 100% on point. And when we write copy, there's a few specific tenets that we sort of always abide by. There are certain things that we almost always do. First of all, starting with a problem, right? Starting by almost calling out your audience with the problem that you know that they're experiencing and the problem that you know that your product or service can solve. Start with the problem. That will be more likely to sort of get them to take notice of what you're doing. You really want to start speaking their language before saying things like, hey, we do this, we do that. Generally speaking, they don't care as what you do, as if it doesn't solve a problem that they have. So state their problem to them, or ask them a question, right? Ask a question, maybe that even, sort of points at a problem that they might have, right? We know this because we see this on TV all the time with like almost every ad. Are you feeling this way? Are you experiencing this? Many people are experiencing this. How about you? These are very tried and true techniques that you can use in your social media advertising that really work. And when I say thumb stopping, what I mean is, like, it's all about people are just flipping through their screens on their phones. And it's all about whatever you can do to get them to sort of just stop that thumb and read your ad. And, not to get too granular about this, but again, where Facebook measures everything, understand that Facebook knows every single one of us how quickly we typically scroll through things. And if we slow down on something, Facebook records that as an engagement because it stopped whatever pattern we were in. And you can probably expect to see more from that advertiser or that group or that page later on if you even do that. Just a small action or inaction like that, it's wild. But that's why having great content, very engaging content, is so important. So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So on the left-hand side, right, easy to read, simple to understand. That's what this has to be about. So on the left-hand side over here, same client that I was talking about before with the generators, but they also do these heat pumps, which are these things that hang off the wall and blow cold air or hot air into your house. And you can just basically press a button and change the, change the temperature of a room. I could never figure out how the heck to explain this to people until my daughter actually asked me what it was. And I had to explain it to her, and she was 5 at the time. And then it kind of dawned on me, like, we're not talking to these people like at a first or second grade level, which is the way that most people learn. That's the level that most people learn at. And so you really have to get down to that level if you're trying to explain something, because you all on this call understand what you do at a level of 10. The average person understands it on a level of 2. You have to close the gap, right? You can't expect them to close the gap. You've got to close the gap. Most people come down to like a level 6, but they're still at a level 2. And that difference between 2 and 6 is what's called the curse of knowledge. Right? That knowledge gap. So you got to really make things super, super understandable. Over here in the middle, you can see this poor little girl, she fell in the toilet. Why? Because she was trying to potty train and she didn't have the super potty trainer. Pretty straightforward. Over here, we're trying to demonstrate that the Renzo Gracie, the jujitsu, is a family activity. We show the families together. There's a photo set so you can kind of flip through and kind of see if there's anybody that in these things. And then over here, again, LaPlante Electric. What's the problem? Well, the problem is there's a huge hurricane coming, right? What's the solution? Hey, bring it on. No problem. We've got a standby generator available, 125 down, $99 a month, instantly solves the problem. This Sweet Chicks, for anybody that enjoys fried chicken, like if you're ever over in the Northampton area, you got to try Sweet Chicks. Very, very good. But again, what are we selling? We're selling fried chicken, but we're also just selling something new, something interesting, something fun. And it's this fried chicken that's brined in sweet tea. It's next level, really. But giving people pictures of food, I think I said before that like dogs and food are the most valuable things you can be promoting in social media. And it's almost not even a question. Over here on the right side, we talk about starting out with the problem, stating the problem. Well, John was looking for a 300-inch television for his backyard, and he couldn't find the one that would actually deal with the Las Vegas heat until he found us. See how we helped him, right? And that's exactly what these guys do. It's called YOLO TVs, and they sell these 300-inch TVs for anybody that would like to have one in their backyard. I can give you the information. But you start with the problem. You maybe accentuate the problem. You maybe like tease the problem a little bit. Elevate the problem in the person's mind, and then you demonstrate how you solve the problem. And that can be the difference between, a successful ad and a non-successful ad. Now, many times people ask us, hey, well, how much do I spend on this? Like, how much should I spend on social media ads if I really want to be able to, kind of knock the ball out of the park, but I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to break the bank. What should I start out with as a budget? So there's 2 different ways we can do this. We can either target it based on what your return on investment is. So let's say, for instance, hey, I want to find out a way to get an extra $10,000 a month in monthly recurring subscriptions. Okay, so you start with a percentage of what that ultimate goal is. So I usually use 20% as the number, right? Because if you invest 20%, so if you invest $2,000 a month and it brings you $10,000 a month in recurring revenue over time, or in recurring net profit over time, then you have a return on investment of, I mean, if that's a monthly thing or an annual thing, then that can be an immediate, that can be an unlimited return on investment, right? But if it's more of a one-time thing, then that's like a 400% return on investment. Most people would find that to be very good. Would probably say, hey, how many more times can I do that? The less scientific starting small approach is the one that a lot of our clients actually start with, which is, hey, if you just choose a dollar amount that you can afford, that will not keep you up at night, but you could sort of put it, it's like if you were playing a game of poker, right? And you were pretty sure you're going to win because you feel like you had a winning hand, and you're not going to put all of your chips into the middle of the table, but just give me the number of chips that you feel you could lose and not have it ruin your entire year, right? Start with a number like that, and then commit to truly analyzing the data and the information so that you can scale that budget up later on, right? That's typically the way that a lot of our clients want to start. So, as an example, right, we'll take a local roofing contractor who says, listen, I can sleep at night if I'm putting $2,000 a month into this, right? So we run the Facebook ads, we run the Instagram ads for that person, and we say, you have to really do a good job of making sure that you track every single thing that happens as a result of these ads, right? You have to track every single lead. You got to track every conversation and every sale that happens. Okay, great. That person at the end of 3 months, they've got 6 different roofs, and they can basically be 100% attributable. That generates $30,000 in net profit. They spent $2,000 to do it, 30 grand at the end. That gives them a 500% ROI. The next question shouldn't be, what should I spend on social media advertising? The next question should be, how much more can I spend on social media advertising? Because I want to do that again, and I want to do it as many times as I possibly can before I sort of reach that level of diminishing marginal return, right? Because eventually you're just going to run out of people to advertise to, or you've already sold everybody a roof, so your advertising budget doesn't go anywhere anymore. But for almost everybody on this call, that's way in the future and not something you need to worry about. So you start at a level that you can basically absorb. You track the results, you track the return on investment, and then you scale up when you can see that there is a positive return on investment. And that's what we do for pretty much all of our clients, and it works. So we are right at 12:30, and that is the end of this particular presentation. I was saying last time, the next one that I really want to cover with everybody here revolves around LinkedIn advertising, because here we're primarily in Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn also has some amazing advertising platforms and also some amazing strategies to help you connect with other people who can create great partnerships and great relationships that can really bring you a lot of business over the long term. So that'll probably be the next one that we do. And if anybody's interested in joining for that, we'll have the link to you shortly. We just got to figure out what day. But now, what questions do you have about what we've talked about so far? We got a couple minutes here for Q&A. Anybody?
Gotta be some questions.
If not, no problem.
Let's see if we have anything in the chat. Oh,
Hey.
we have that your wife is a very talented actress. You got that in the chat, Brad.
Oh, she is a talented actress. She is definitely a talented actress. Oh, Robert.
Yeah.
Yep. Jennifer, don't call me Cardin, call me Solomon. Jennifer Solomon. Thank you. I'll let her know that you said that.
Yes, Diane, just to address your question, we will send the recording out. Cole will have that to you guys as a YouTube link. Yeah. Or actually as a link to your website is what we usually do, right, Brad?
Yep, I'll have it right on my website. And also, if anybody is interested, or if you're currently running social media advertising, or if you're currently doing anything as far as digital marketing goes, and you want kind of like just like a set of eyeballs on what you're doing, I'm more than happy to provide you with some input, some tips and tricks that I think would make a difference for you. Always on board for doing that and helping out small businesses for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the crowd while we have Brad here?
Good, man. That means we covered everything. I mean,
You did.
Can't ask for more than that.
That's awesome. All right. Well, as Brad mentioned, stay tuned for the next session. We'll have that to you as soon as we figure out our act over here and a good date for that. And we hope that you'll all join us again. But until then, I'm assuming, well, I can't really say happy Thanksgiving because it's kind of borderline. Maybe we'll do it before then, but we'll just go with it. Happy Thanksgiving.
We don't see it. Happy
And thank you
Halloween for
so
sure.
much. I know, Halloween first, right? There's David coming in like, don't forget Halloween. I know some people don't care about Halloween, so I was skipping ahead of that. But Brad, thank you so much for your expertise and for sharing it with us today.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much for having me. We'll talk soon.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.